Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to lesson 8 of the MyListing course, recreating the Canvas starter site. Up on my screen, I've got the agenda for today, which is a quick recap of lesson 7. Then we're going to look at transactional email and then custom login pages, custom registration pages, and custom lost password pages. As a recap to the previous lesson, we put in a 404 page to help people find their way back should they hit a page with a broken link where there's nothing to see. It's basically a dead page. That got applied to the entire website. And then we looked at a custom footer built with Elementor. So we pulled in that custom footer from the Canvas site, and I showed people how to apply that footer using display conditions. And then next up, we created a privacy policy and a terms and conditions policy using Termageddon, and applied those where they needed to be applied, talked about some SEO best practices around those, and so on and so forth. First up today is in this lesson is transactional email, and then we'll get on to these other custom pages for a custom login registration experience. The reason that I lumped these two topics together, meaning transactional email and custom login registration, is because this is where you really start to need that transactional email. And we'll get into what transactional email is all about. But now is when it comes into play. The other challenge here is as we go along in this course is as I'm trying to lump this stuff all together so that videos aren't an hour long, but they're also not 10 minutes long, if you know what I mean. So I'm trying to group these things as it makes sense, and this just absolutely made sense. So let's go ahead and dive in. We'll get rid of the agenda here. And let's go to the MyListing project template and see where we left off. And before we continue on, I'm gonna move Google reviews over to the online presence column for a couple of reasons. One, because it's an SEO element to a website. Okay, so that's part of the reason. The other reason is just there's nothing really that I don't want to do a video just on that because it wouldn't be very long, because I've already got other videos and guides for how to set that up. We would just be touching upon it. So that's one of the main reasons. Is just I didn't want to do a video just on that, and it didn't really fit in with any of these other things that are going on here. So it's left on the website column. In the website column, I also want to talk. I want to move the MyListing worksheets, and I'm going to move those for now to the top of the MyListing column, and we'll get to that in a bit. So here we go. After this course, we're going to be able to knock down the website column entirely, and we'll be moving over to WooCommerce. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in to transactional email. MyListing websites rely heavily on transactional email to communicate order confirmations, password resets, and account alerts, amongst other things. Setting up your website transactional email correctly is essential to prevent it from ending up in spam, junk folders, or not being received entirely. So for this, I use and recommend MailPoet. You can for transactional email, you can get away with the free version of MailPoet. I use the paid version just because of the features that it provides. And I pay for that for multiple sites of my own. Clients do as well, but I have a lot of clients that are just running off the free version, and that's just fine. MailPoet also has a newsletter component. That's just part of why I'm paying for it. So it is an all-in-one solution for the transactional email and making sure your email is delivered, things like that. But then also that newsletter component, it's kind of like a CRM as well, and it's heavily integrated with WooCommerce, which we're all using as part of our MyListing websites. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do here is this gives us an opportunity. We're going to go and install the MailPoet plugin. So we're just going to go here and add a plugin as we normally would, do a search in the WordPress repository for MailPoet. And I am brain farting this. We must have already done this at some point. Yeah, there we go. So let's go to settings and see where we left off. I totally brain farted that. I don't know if I covered that in this course or not, or if I just accidentally installed that. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, I told you guys, these are unscripted, unrehearsed. These are, it is what it is. All right, let's do begin setup. And we'll just put in my listing club and then this won't really matter right now. I actually could have skipped that step. I'm going to show you that. I'm just going to, I've got a guide and a video on this too, so I'm just going to kind of fly through this, but I choose those there, and I choose that one there, continue. And we click connect to MailPoet. Now, when you get here, like I said, you can start for free. It just depends on the number of subscribers that you have. But again, if it's just transactional email that you care about, then that really doesn't come into play as much. That's just more like on the newsletter side of things. So we're going to go ahead and just roll with the default option there and choose start for free. And then it's going to want you to create an account and verify your settings and all of that stuff. Let me see if we can actually do this or not without too much hassle. I'm just pulling up the settings over here on the Canvas site. We may not go through the actual setup. Like I said, I've got a guide and a video on how to do this already. Let me see here. Let's go back. Once you do this, you see like it kind of sneaks this in. It has you go off to the MailPoet site, but then it also, if you sneak back to your site, it's looking for an activation key here. Let me see if I put in Canvas's key, what happens. Okay, that's connected. Let me check Canvas, make sure I didn't break that. I use it on Canvas, and I started doing this with starter sites just because there's transactional emails happening, even though the site's actually not a live website, right? Even though it's just a starter site, there are people that are wanting to test Canvas and all of that, and I want to make sure that the emails are delivered. So that's why I went ahead and set up MailPoet there. All right, so it looks like it doesn't break anything. That's cool on Canvas. So let's go ahead and click this Start Using MailPoet button. Okay, and you come over here, and we're not going to get into the configuration and everything. The main thing is the transactional email, one of the key settings I want to look at. So you go to Settings, MailPoet Settings, Key Activation we just did. The key is valid. Under Advanced, you would then choose what you send with. Where the heck is it? Right here. No, that's not it. Oh, I see. So it's saying your key is not valid. Okay. That's because of the key we're using. So if you use I'm just going to show what it looks like on Canvas. That's the easiest way to do it. So once you put your key in, you're going to get this MailPoet sending service is active. Then you go over to the Advanced tab, and that's where you're able to choose this right here, the MailPoet sending service. That's what you choose. That's what's going to help you guarantee that you get your emails delivered. Okay. But check out my guide for it. Check out the video on YouTube for it if you want to set it up. But that's why that's not letting us do that there. Yeah, okay. That will unlock that option. Again, it's all free. You just need to set it up, set your account up, get your key, that sort of thing, and then use my guide and video for setting all of this up. So we're going to pretend that we've done that, and transactional email at this point is functioning. All right. Okay. So, and of course, if I didn't mention it, I don't think I did. There is a really nice deal, partner deal, to get MailPoet at a discount, and then If you happen to have the project template, there's some links here to the guides and the deals. Okay, good to go there. Let's knock that down. All right, this is the big daddy right here. Actions pack for Elementor. That's what's required to make this custom login registration experience. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just delete this column here because I know what we've got to do, and I'm actually going to get rid of the project template, and we are going to now pull over this. These are the build notes. So if you're not familiar with that, you can go to the MyListing Club website. Here, I'll walk you to it. So MyListing Club, Explore, Starter Sites, and then we scroll down, Explore, click into this Canvas card, and then we're going to scroll down into the build notes and educational video section. We're going to look for custom login registration experience. I think this is the #1 video that I've ever done. I think it's the most popular one I've ever done. It may have even surpassed my replace contact form 7 with Elementor Pro forms. I'd have to go and look at that. But this is a highly, highly sought after thing here. Okay. All right. So we're going to use this, and we're also going to use my guide for this. Okay. So for this to work, you need the gold plan from Actions Pack for Elementor, and you get a Club has a discount for it. It's very inexpensive. Yeah, really super good stuff. As MyListing website owners, we are limited in what we can do regarding the design and functionality of the login registration process. So if you're not familiar, you basically theme tools, theme options, and then you have under the general section, you can set a login background. Outside of that, I mean, it's very limited. You need to know CSS to style everything. It's just you're locked into what the theme provides you unless you're really good with CSS. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. Okay, and then of course there is the built-in social login component, and if you enable these and set them up, then they will appear on those pages. So for now, let's see what they look like here. So I'm going to open up this site in an incognito window. Let me see. Let's do something else here. Actually, I want to choose a different profile. Give me 1 second. All right, let's do a different browser. I'm going to do. Let's do this. Let's do this in Microsoft Edge. All right, so here is the site. Right now it's in coming soon mode. So I'm going to toggle that off real quick. So for that, we go to Elementor and then Tools, Maintenance Mode, and we're going to disable coming soon temporarily. And I'm going to clear the cache just to be sure that it unlocks that page or that mode. And let's refresh. Okay, there we go. So now if we go to sign in, this is what you get. And if you configure this setting like I showed you, let's go to Theme Tools, Theme Options. And you configure this login register background page. If you do that, it's going to shift this login stuff right here. It's going to shift it all the way to the left, and then over here in the right, you're going to get this big background image in there. Okay, so that's what all that stuff does. But we're going to change all of that. Okay, so we're not going to look at any of the settings here, not touch any of the MyListing settings. There's no need to. We're going to do our own social login. We're going to do our own login register background. Not touching anything with MyListing here. All right. All right, so to get us started here, we're going to add another plugin. We're going to do the Actions Pack for Elementor plugin. So I'm going to upload this. And we're going to activate it. And I'm going to punch in my license key. see. How do I do this? How do I do this? Please clear. Okay, let me do this in another screen. See how I can get around this. Oh, okay. Bear with me 1 second here. I just need to allow Actions Pack for Elementor to be used on this site. I've only got so many licenses for it, so I have to allow myself to use it over here. So here we go, restrict sites. We're gonna delete that one. Oh man, okay, 1 second. I'm just putting in. Bear with me 1 second. And almost there, putting in the URL of this, so online directory .club. All right, cool. All right, so let me try again. Let's activate it. All right, cool. So we are good to go there. Licensing's good. Okay, so back here to our build notes. Again, I'm just gonna keep saying this. I've got a guide in the video on this. I'm not gonna rehash everything. The goal is just to get, to replicate what we've done with Canvas. I'm not gonna get into all the benefits and everything like that here. I'll let you guys read through all the build notes. They're publicly available for everyone to look at and read. WP Social, okay, that's the next plugin we're gonna need. So we're gonna go ahead and add that. Free plugin from the repository. And which one is it? One second, please, while I find. Okay, WP Social. That is by WP Met. I always forget that. Just got to find it here. All right, I'll just do a search. Control F, and I'll do a search for the word Met. There it is. Install this. And we'll go ahead and activate it. All right, and we will go and refresh our dashboard, and we'll go back to the build notes here. So we've got Actions Pack for Elementor in place. We've got the gold plan with Actions Pack for Elementor, which is required. We've now got the free social, WP Social login, or this WP Social plugin installed. Okay, so now we got to get all of the pages in place. I'm going to move this to my other screen for now. And we need to go to pages. Too many screens open. Okay, so we need a login page. So we're going to add a new page. And we are going to call this login. And I am going to open the same page. If you've seen the previous lesson, you saw me copy directly from one website to another between Elementor-based pages. So we're going to do the same here for the login, register, and lost password pages. All right, so what I'm doing on my other screen is I'm just copying all the content from the login page. We're going to edit this page with Elementor, and I'm going to paste it right in here. Okay, right-click, paste from other site. Control V. There we go. So just that fast, we have replicated the login page. I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And we are going to create register page in the same fashion, and we're going to create a lost password page in the same fashion. Okay, register. Edit with Elementor, and then another one called lost password, and edit with Elementor. And then on my other screen, I am copying the register page content. So copy all content, paste from other site, Control V. Good to go with that. Publish. We're going to do the same thing for the lost password page. And publish. Okay, now, if you watch the previous lesson, you'll know my approach on no indexing and no following pages that have no SEO value. So we're going to refresh this. We are then going to edit, bulk edit, login, lost password, and our 3 new pages. Now, I'm also, just as a bonus, going to throw this in here. I like to do the same for the My Account page. It has no SEO value. There's no reason to index that page in search engines, none whatsoever. Okay. Shop page, that's debatable. It depends on how your shop page is built, if it has any SEO value. But typically, it depends. If you actually have a true shop page, right? Like a true WooCommerce store page, not just the default shop page that MyListing gives you, like this, for example. You know, it's just basic. There's hardly anything in it. It's not pretty. It's, you know, all of that sort of thing. You might want to no index that page, but it's not as critical. Also, while we're in here, we want to no index, no follow the cart and the checkout pages. Okay. So under bulk action, here we go. Enable no index. Click apply. And this is all made possible by SEO Press. That plugin makes it super easy to do what we just did. And then that gives you these nice columns over here to easily identify which pages you've no indexed and no followed, just to ensure you've done the right ones and not apply it to the ones you don't want to apply it to as well. All right, so we're going to select those same pages. So basically everything at this point except for shop and our home page, everything else we don't want to index or follow. Under bulk actions, now I'm going to say no follow. Enable no follow and click apply. And now we see that both columns over here for no follow and no index are filled in except for our home and our shop page. So that looks good. Okay, so just a little bonus material for you there. All right, so next up would be the login page. So you would come in here. I give you the placeholder image with the exact dimensions that you need to make this look nice and crisp. So you would just add your own image in here, whatever you want to set. Okay. Down here, this heading is going to pull in from the site title. So whatever your site title is. And then obviously you don't want to link to Canvas. I'm actually going to change this in the template. This is just reminding me to do that. I'd actually want this link here to use a dynamic tag and link to the site URL. So I'm going to do that actually after this video. This is a nice reminder. So that way, anybody who gets the starter site or gets this particular template, they don't have to go in and change this. That'll be automatic. That's something I forgot. Okay, so that is that. And we would do the same here for all of these headings. So we can actually just copy this, paste it over, get rid of the old. All right, so there's that. Next up is going down this page is the actual form. Okay, so username, password, remember me. There's nothing you need to do in here. This is what it is. You can adjust it if you want, but you shouldn't have to. The key here is actions after submit. So this is kind of where the name of Actions Pack for Elementor comes from. What do you want to do after the form is submitted? We want to unlock the action to log in. So that's what this is for, because it's the login page, right? That's going to unlock this login toggle right here, and you click into that, and then you configure your settings again with the guide in the video that I set up. Clicking into here, let's just see if there's anything we need to change as far as specific to the site. And yeah, so we've got this that we need to change. You would just change these links to be for your actual domain. So in this case, it's online directory.club. So I'm just going to copy that and paste that in here. Now just make sure that you get it right. not broken. Of course, you'll want to test all this, right? All right, so I'm gonna just copy this first part here, https://online directory club. I'm gonna copy that, and I'm just gonna go through here and replace all of these. Again, I don't know what I did there. Again, you want to make sure that you get those URLs right. Okay. Otherwise, these redirects aren't going to work. If you want to even do the redirects, you don't have to use those if you don't want. This is basically saying when someone with this role logs in, where do you want to take them? This is a really nice feature of Actions Pack for Elementor. Okay, so let me just keep doing this here. That looks good, and then one more. Cool. So all of those look fine, and then let's check additional settings here. All right, same thing. We're just swapping out the URLs. Now, if you are with Kinsta, there's another thing that you can do. So I'm going to actually show you this, and it will save a lot of time if you happen to be with Kinsta, or maybe you're with another host that provides this functionality, or you have a plugin. I recommend not doing it with the plugin if you don't have to, and hopefully you can do it at the server level. But I'm going to show you a trick here. All right, so I've got Kinsta pulled up here for this site, and I go to Tools, and we're going to go to Search and Replace, and we're going to search for the old domain. So if I go back here to this login page, and we go under Additional Settings, this is the old domain, the old URL that it's looking for, right? So I'm going to plop that in. Okay. So we're going to replace this with our new URL, and it's going to go through everything in the database, and it's going to update that stuff. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just save changes here. Save changes here, so we can refresh these pages. Okay. So what we want to look at here is you see under additional settings, we see the old Canvas URL. So when we finish this task right here, we're going to see that changed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this. You always want to do a backup too. I didn't do that in this case because this is just a test site, but you always want to do a backup in a live environment just in case you have a typo, right? All right, so click Replace. Well, it's going to take just a second here to finish this up, and we'll refresh the page and check it out. All right, so it shows here that they replaced 13 instances. Okay, now let's go ahead and refresh this page. I don't know how 2 of those got in there, but anyway. Okay, so let's go into that form. Additional settings, and it didn't take in there. And if you ever see this, it's because it needs Elementor to do the same thing. Okay, so I go back to the dashboard, I go to Elementor, and I go Tools. I go to their Replace URL option. Okay, we're just going to put in these same variables here. So in short, there's just we need to use Elementor to do the same thing because we couldn't reach those otherwise. All right, so we put the same stuff in there and click Replace URL. 17 database rows were affected. All right, now let's refresh the page and see what we get. That's weird. It still did not change. Huh. That is weird. Let's run this one more time and see if it catches anything else. Oh, it caught 2 more. That's interesting. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, 0. So I guess the moral of the story is keep running it until it doesn't find anymore. Let's run it over here again. And you could try too. You might be able to get away with just doing it on the Elementor side. Since this is just Elementor based content, maybe just try running it over there each time. So it found 3 more. Let's run it one more time and see if it finds any more. I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it doesn't get it all in one shot. But beyond my pay grade. Okay, so that should do it. Let's refresh. There we go. It got it that time. Cool. All right. Yeah, it's got all of our URLs updated in there. That is great. That all looks perfect. So yeah. Next one down here is we've got a button, and we see that this is pointing to the register page. So what we want to do here is we just want to make sure that our text color is showing. So there we have that. Let's see here. So if you don't mind, guys, I'm setting this. I'm changing something over on the live Canvas site just so I don't forget. Okay, so that's that. We want to update our changes just because with Elementor, you never know what's going to happen. So moving on down, we've got the short code, which is automatically going to, if you get the template or the starter site, this part's automatically going to be set up for you. This is the social login piece, which we'll get to in a bit. This link down here is the reset password link, which links to the lost password page that we're working on. Okay, so that should be ready to go. So let's go over to the register page, refresh that. Lost password page, refresh that. Okay, let's refresh this one too. And with Elementor templates, one of the things you sometimes need to do is you need to adjust the fonts, just because you may have something on your site that is set a different way, and it's just hard. It doesn't matter who you get the templates from, the clubs, Elementor, whoever. They are never perfect when you import them. At least I've never seen them be perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this style here and just paste it across. I'm not sure why that didn't take there. That is interesting. Both of these are headings. They are both H1. That is strange why that didn't copy over. Copy. Paste style. That's weird. See, that one works, but the other one doesn't. That is bizarre. Okay, let's manually set this just so it matches. We're going to just click this XL again. There we go. I don't know. Elementor is weird, guys. Sometimes I don't understand. I don't understand it, but it's weird. Okay, so back to our register page. We know that this heading is fine. Let's look at the form. We just go top down and just configure all this. This time, actions after submit is register. That unlocks this register toggle. We click into that register toggle, click into user role, or the default role, is customer. The username, we're just going to use email, password. Again, you can read through the guide and watch my video on all of this. You just want to go through and make sure, double check all the settings. Who the email's from, that's fine in my case. When someone registers, where do they get redirected to? We're going to redirect them to the login page after they register. You want to change the subject here. I'm saying welcome to Canvas, which works in this case. And then down here, this is going to be the content of your email, which you can adjust and use any of the variables that you need. That all looks fine for this particular site because we're recreating Canvas, right? Additional settings, nothing to do in there. I'm checking the actual Canvas site just to make sure I didn't do something over there that didn't get I must have toggled something off is the reason why that shows that with Elementor, if this pencil looking thing is lit up, that means you made a change. So I must have turned something off versus turned something on. So I'm going to leave that as is, and we should be good to go with the form. And then, like I said, this social login piece, you need to know what short code to add where. We'll look at that in a second, but that's already pre-configured, ready to go. Looking at the lost password page, we look at the form. This time our actions after submit are reset password. That unlocks the reset password toggle. And then we do our stuff here, okay? Username, password, reset through a link. You have options. You could do OTP, which is a one-time password. We are sending the link, reset link, one-time password link via email. You have other options here. You can do SMS. Clicking into email settings. We've got some options here. This should not say fit. That's from the previous starter site. So actually, if you'll allow me to, I'm going to change this real quick before I forget. I'll just change it after this. I'll remember. Okay, so that's that. Obviously, we want this to say canvas. Canvas password reset. Down here's this, again, some of this stuff, a lot of this stuff is the guide in the video for how I set this up. I don't want to keep rehashing this from scratch, how to set it up, but that is that. And again, all these pages here, you can put custom images, background images over here. Whereas with MyListing, you can just use one, and that has to be like the global. So you can get creative here. You can put whatever you want on these pages, to build them, design them, do whatever you want. Okay, so now that we've done that, when we look at the front end, before we do that, let's get to the social login piece. Okay, we get back to my notes, and we're probably due to go over to the guide here. So with Canvas, there's a light and a dark mode of all of these pages. We're just doing the default mode, which is light mode. Adjusting the custom login links, we will look at that. Okay, for the social login. For that, we go here and back to our dashboard, and we go to social login and social login. So WP social and then social login. You don't configure what's on the MyListing side. We just skip all of that altogether. All right. Just got to get through this onboarding wizard here. I do not want to share sensitive data. Yep, just get me to the settings. Okay, so the only thing that I did in here, I believe, I'll look at Canvas just to make sure I'm saying this properly. Yeah, I did not set anything on this screen. Down here, you'll see those short codes. So here we go. XS _social _login. I believe, I'm not sure what that stands for, maybe extra small. Let's go to the login, and let's go to this short code widget here. So all I did was drop the short code widget into the page and pasted the short code that they gave us here. All right. So that is that. Under providers, you just choose whatever provider you want to enable. So Facebook, for example, and Google. And then whatever you want to use, you click into the box, the settings, and they will tell you exactly how to set this up. And you punch in the information here. You can change your button label text, whether it's login or log out, change that text. Let me see what I set here. So I did LinkedIn too, just so people knew this was kind of a unique thing that MyListing didn't offer. That's how I hopefully accomplished that. Let me see. Let's see buttons. Okay, so let's look at Google first. So I said for the buttons, log in with Google, log out from Google. Okay, so that's all default. Let's see if I changed anything for Facebook. No. Okay, so those were just the defaults. So that's how you do that. Okay, go in there, configure all of that stuff. And then style settings, let's make sure I match this up. And I just went with this default here. because I thought it looked really good. And then I added my own styling, which we should probably get into, I believe. Okay, so that's social login. And let me pull the site up again where we're not logged in. You're going to get this again, okay? One of the things that you'll see missing is the ability to register there, right? So that's one of the things that we need to turn on. All right. All right, so over here, we'll go to WooCommerce and then settings, accounts and privacy. And I'm going to go ahead. This is what I like to do personally. Hold on, let me make sure I get my settings exactly the same, just so we have an apples to apples comparison. We'll get into all the WooCommerce stuff again. So these are the settings that I like to choose. We'll configure the rest later. But once we set this and refresh this page, we now have the register option here up here at the top. So sign in or register. Okay, so now if you click sign in, this is the default MyListing header. You're going to get the login, the default sign in page. If you click register, you're going to get the default. It's all the same page. It's just, they basically, toggle these around, right? So if you look at the URL for sign in, it's different. It's just my account. But essentially, it's just the same thing with a variable to flip over to the other tab and register. But essentially, it's the same page, okay? All right, not too bad. It's not too bad, but we can do a lot better. So how do we do that? We need to redirect these URLs right here. We don't want them to go to the default MyListing stuff. For that, we connect to the site via, you can use a plugin, which I don't recommend you do. That's like a file manager plugin. It allows you to browse the files on your site. I always preach that you use FileZilla. It's a free application that you can install on any operating system for whatever computer you have. If you're with Keensta, they make it really easy to provide you the information you need. Other hosts too. It's not just Keensta's not special in that area by any means, but it's really easy to find in Keensta. And they give you the information you need. You need to go into FileZilla. You need to just to plug it in, save your changes, and you're connected to the site, and you're good to go. So that's what I've already done here. And this is what you'll see. This is the file system. We're going to go into WP content. And we're going to go into themes. And we're going to go into MyListing. If you follow the course at all, you'll know we've already got the child theme installed. And let me see if I can recall from memory. Let's see, WP content. I'm gonna have to look and see here. Includes. Okay, we need to go to the includes folder and then the utils folder, and then we need this file. We need to edit this file. All right. So I'm gonna download this to my computer. Okay, we're going to edit this file. I need to set up so I'm just going to configure FileZilla really quick. I need to configure it to open my text editor. So settings, go down here, file editing, and use the system default. We'll see if that gets the job done. Okay, edit. I like to use Visual Studio Code instead. So let me see if I can quickly see how to do this. Let's do this. I'm going to go to my actual downloads folder. I'm going to choose open with. There we go. So open Visual Studio Code, another free application you can use on any operating system. It's what I use to edit all of my code. Okay, so we are looking for line 316. So I'm going to do a Control F to search. And it's not that big of a file. We'll just scroll. So we just want to scroll until we see 316. line 316. At least that's what it was at the time that I documented it. This is another way to do it. So let's just pretend we're back at the top, because this may change as the developers edit this code. Just do a Control F and do a search for login. Okay, here we go. So this is what we need to change. And I give you this in the guide. Let me pull up the guide on my other screen. Bear with me for a second. I need to find out where this code is. Replacing. All right. Let me see how best I can do this. The fastest I can do this. All right. This is what we're going to do. Give me 1 second. I'm going to also connect to Canvas. I need to bring this over to my other screen for privacy reasons because I have client stuff in here. So I'm going to connect to Canvas as well. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to delete this one. I'll show you this. Don't worry. Okay. So I'm over in Canvas and I'm going to browse to it. So once you get that file where you need it to be, you need to drag it into the same location into the child theme, which I've done. So, and that includes folder, the utils folder, and then that utils file, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the file that's already been edited, copy that to my workstation. Now on the new Canvas site that we're recreating, okay, I'm going to go into that child theme folder. We see that it doesn't exist, so I need to create that same structure, which includes in a subdirectory called utils. Okay, so right from the root here, I'm going to do a create directory. I'm going to plop that right in. So includes //utils. Okay, so now we have that file structure created. And I'm going to drag that utils file in there that is pre-configured off of Canvas already. And as promised, I'm going to quickly edit this just to show you what it looks like, even though I've got other guides and stuff that would do that for you. Okay, let's do that search for... So many pop-ups these days in software. It's crazy. All right, so let's do a login, search. There we go. So here's what we've changed it to from what it was before. And we need to change this to our site. So online directory.club. Online directory.club. All right, so that handles the login and register. And we want to save this file now that we made changes. And then FileZilla is going to want to upload those changes to the server. Okay, that's done. Okay, so our files are changed. Let's go back to the home page. Now, when I click sign in or register, it's going to take us to our new login page. There we go. Or our register page. There we go. Pretty cool stuff, right? Now, one of the things you might be wondering is, like, where does this design come from, right? How is that already designed to look like that? Because that's not what it looked like over here. So let's go back into social login, style settings. This is what we said it was going to look like, right? So where did that design come from that, that matches what the look we're going for? So for that, we go back to our custom pages, whether it's the login, register, lost password, whatever. Go back to that shortcode, go to the advanced tab, go to custom CSS, and that is the CSS that I added in here. So that's where that styling comes from to look like that. All right. Now, again, one thing I want to point out that's special here is you'll notice that for scalability, manageability, we're using color variables. This was back at the beginning of this course where I talked about this. You'll see references to variable, canvas white, variable accent. So that is where this comes into. So if you pull this into your site and it doesn't look exactly like this, that's why. You need to have a look at those color variables. Or if you don't want to do the variables, which I think you should, you can go in here and manually edit this CSS. It's very simple. So, canvas white is just white. So you can just say like background is white. Okay, like that. All right. var accent, variable accent color, is always going to work for you as long as you have your accent color set under theme tools and theme options and accent color. That's always going to work for every MyListing website that has an accent color set. You don't need to manually change that one. So both of these whites you can just set to white, and you're good to go. I'm not going to save that change because I want to just keep it. Okay, so if I pull this up, again, this is viewing the website as a visitor. So this is the login page, just as they normally would. Blah, 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 username, password, or they could use one of the social logins to log in. Okay, they can click reset password if they forget their password. Now, if they don't have an account, they can click this create account button. That's going to drop them right into the custom register page, all right, where they can put their email address in and sign up. All of this is customizable. It's totally up to you what fields you want to make them fill in when they register, all that sort of thing. Let's go back a page. Reset password. We see that this redirects to our custom reset password page. All customizable too, but just that easy. We have the flexibility of using Elementor to completely customize our experience with the login and registration. And if you want to get back to the defaults, as I mentioned, it's outside of what we're doing here, but if you ever want to get back to the defaults, as it says in the build notes for the Canvas site, you can just delete these 3 pages and delete the file that we customized, and you're right back to what MyListing gives you. Super simple, very flexible. All right, let me look at my guide here on my other screen, just see if there's anything else I need to tell you. You need the gold plan for Actions Pack for this to work, discount in the club. We went over all of that. Yeah, you got to check out the guide in the video just because there's some stuff here. I don't want to be here all day with it, but all these templates are available in the club, obviously. If you don't want to pre-configure, if you don't want to configure all from scratch. I gave you all of the everything, all the code to change, everything. Hide content based on user role or yeah, that's really it, guys. Check out the video tutorial if you're not a member and you don't want to pay for a membership for whatever reason, and you don't want to get the guide, which I really think you should get the guide because that's got the actual written guide. It's got the juiciest material, like stuff in it. But you could first check out the video tutorial and then go from there. All right. Or just try to do it on your own, but it's faster just to do what's already done. All right. That's it, really. I mean, it's working. I promise it's working. All right. All right, guys. I think that's it. I'm thinking for a second. Is there anything I'm not thinking of? I think that's it. I think we've replicated that part of Canvas. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for lesson 9. See ya.